armies. Now we see the signs around us about the image of the beast. Everything is coming at us now. And so Revelation 13, verse 11 and 12, we just got to quote that, the 200 beasts, and he calls the world the wonder after the beast. And that's the 200 beasts. We see that and all we use that, the bison, because of the little horns, and you know, they was the that's the beast on the Department of Interior, but that was what used to roam the country, especially out west and other places.
You want to put an S on that T. You might want to go back and make a note. You got to put an S on that beat. Make it beast.
Oh, yes, yes. Wow. I have lots of mistakes. Oh,
No, it's
I know, but look. Listen, thank you. I appreciate you all when y'all point things out to me. You see, because this here is a mistake. But the beast with lamb-like horn. So we know that, and I'm so glad that she pointed that out to me. Okay, and I just put that up there a few days ago, these bisons. And out, for those who have been out west, you go out to Yellowstone and all those areas, and oh man, it is awesome. And when you see those big bison, you never know what they would do. If you get out there, they might just change their mind and charge. And so they look so innocent and pretty, but here they are roaming, they are many, but I use that as a 200 beast here. And we done studied about the papacy. That's the papacy from in Revelation 1 through 9, and 1 through 10. And now the image to the beast, making an image of the beast. And now let's take our Bibles and turn to Revelation chapter 13, verses 11 through 15. Revelation chapter 13, verses 11 through 15, and I will begin to read. And I'm reading, okay, Revelation chapter 13, verses 11 through 15. Okay, it says, and I beheld another beast coming by the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercises all, not some of it, all the powers of the first beast before him. And that's the 200 beasts that will be exercising his power, and caused the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the what? In the sight. In the sight of the beast. This is the 200 beasts now, doing things in the sight of the beast. And it says, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by his sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And I want you to know that the image of the beast is being formed now. And when we say image of the beast, we talk about church and state. And remember the Revelation 17, 1 through 5, speaking about the mother of harlots riding on the scarlet colored beast, the beast that she rides on, and she is the church, the corrupt church. And as she rides on the corrupt church, she controls the beast that she rides on, which is the civil powers. And so we'll find that here, let's go on a little farther. In the great controversy 42 and 3, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast. Here is clearly presented a form of government in which the legislative powers rest with the people. A most striking evidence that the United States is the nation denoted in prophecy. But what is the image of to the beast, and how is it to be formed? the image is made by the two-horned beast and is an image to the beast. It is also called an image of the beast. Then to learn what the image is like and how it is to be formed, we must study the characteristics of the beast itself, the papacy. The result was the papacy, a church that controlled the power of the state and employed it to further her own end, especially for the punishment of the heresy. Mother of harlots, and we just had finished mentioning that. Revelation chapter 17, 1 through 5. She's a mother of harlots. That means that she has daughters. And
Amen.
those daughters, they ran away from home, ran away from the mother, but they are on the way back. And so here, the mother of harlots.
Okay, can you tell me, you said you went to Rome, right?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
I went over there, and well, it was a long time, in 95.
Oh, yeah, I had a question, but it,
Yeah. Okay. And now I done stopped traveling a lot of places. A lot of places I went, but no more now. It says, now watch this. Pope Benedict XVI stirred strong reaction in some quarters recently when he declared that Christ established only one church and that non-Catholic denominations cannot truly be called churches. You hear that? And look what year that was. 2007, when all the country was immersed into and they wanted on the Supreme Court peoples like Scalia and Clarence Thomas and all of the Catholics. That's what they wanted on it, and it was published a lot. Pope insisted non-Catholic churches aren't true churches. And this from the Columbus paper. Catechism on Catholicism, on their way to salvation. You see that? According to papal documents. The only way to salvation. Pope Benedict has asserted the universal supremacy of the Roman Catholic Church, approving a document released to Tuesday that says Orthodox churches were defective and other Christian denominations were not true churches. Christ established here on the earth only one church. That's what the document says. And the other communities cannot call churches in the proper sense because they do not have an apostolic succession, the ability to trace the bishop back to Christ's original apostle. But it says they lack something. And what is that? Because they do not recognize the supremacy of the Pope, and they call it a defect. Or a what?
Womb.
A womb that, and they were the one who received the womb. But they call it others. Now, look what Benedict said in the year 2000. And I'm thankful to the Lord I kept these papers because he impressed me to save it. It says, look down, it says that that was before he became Benedict XVI. It was Joseph Ratzinger. And it says that in a recent letter to Bishop Conference that the Catholic Church is the what?
Mother.
What?
Mother of
Is
all
the mother
Christian
of
churches.
all Christian churches.
oh yeah, that's true.
Now they are admitting this. Now the Bible, God's word has been 2,000 years. You look at,
Amen.
yet they admitting this. And then they said that the Vatican said of the non-Christian churches called non-Christian bodies is defective. And then Ratzinger said in a recent letter to Bishop Conference throughout the world that the Catholic Church is the mother of all Christian churches and told them to stop referring to Orthodox, Anglican, and Protestant churches as what kind of churches?
Sister churches.
Sister churches. They are not your sister. They are not our sister because we are the mother.
Yeah.
So they can't be the sister churches. They're the daughters.
Oh, their daughters. Oh.
Yeah, those are the daughters. And she don't want them to be saying sisters and all because she want to make sure everybody knows she's the mother
Above them.
above them. And this is this is, you know, and the vision aimed to research Christian.
Eyes look evil, huh?
And so this is what we looked at this morning about it taking them 5 years to, and you see where, when it was saying about the 5 years, that's from the year 2000 to 2005, the position of Mary. The position of Mary and the mother of Jesus, and it goes on down, but it's taken them 5 years to come to an agreement. And look at this, because remember, forming an image to the beast now. New inclusive U.S. Christian group. And so here, this is where this group here, it was, you see the date here, they formed this group so they can all from the, it says the Roman Catholic Church, Southern Baptist Convention, and Evangelicals and Pentecostals and all, they was in this discussion for 5 years. And this is part of, remember the faith-based initiative that President Bush signed. This is part of the image of the beast because the church is relying on the state for finances and tax-exempt status and stuff. And they supposed to be receiving tithes and offering to support. But no, they reaching out to the state.
That's right.
And so this, they are not supposed to be doing this. And now it says, President, that's where President Bush, he said the blacks in Congress get common ground. He called them all, and I was trying to see, that was a little, I got to enlarge that right in there, because from the civil rights and all, you
You need me to read
can read it, that dark area.
the underline?
Yes.
Okay. Today's meeting with the 43-member group, a day after Bush met with black clergy and other black community leaders, is part of a renewed effort to appeal to a
Constituency.
constituent whatever, that has overwhelmingly supported Democrats since the 1960s civil rights movement.
And see, they would bring them all together and offer them money and ways to, you know, receive this money and stuff. And in order to, the United States to form an image to the beast, a religious power must control, and that's what the Revelation 17 says about the woman riding on the scarlet colored beast. She's controlling. Now look here, we was talking about this Catholic group here. Look at the year 2004, because they have been meeting together up until then. The Nation Roman Catholic Bishop has given their blessing to a new broad-based efforts to bring Catholic, evangelicals, and mainline Protestant and Orthodox Christians around a common table. And for the first time, and this is the group who put President Trump in office. This whole group here. And you'll say that the organizer will have the group up and running by the next spring. If that was 2004, that would be 2005. Now, Protestant, and we talked about that this morning, how they want to go back to the Pope, to the shepherd, the Pope. So they want to know what we need to do to come home, take it over. And once they have enough votes, they're going to take over the country. So now they found how to take over, and that is to put President Trump into office, and then he will owe them. Remember, and I will show you this in a few moments, but here you remember the President, Trump, when he was campaigning, he said he could stand on the street of New York and he could shoot somebody or he could kill somebody and he would not lose no votes. There are many things that he said that they had to overlook the Christian community because they kind of laughed at first because he was trying to quote the scriptures. Then they realized that he wasn't quoting it correctly, and then they realized that he had been married 3 times and different things, and the casinos and all this stuff, so they did not want to endorse him. But Ben Carson, Swiss Seventh-day Adventist, he seen the light. He felt like right now the evangelicals and they all was turning against Trump. Wait a minute, you've been wanting power for a long time. Now, this is the time. Let's meet with him. Ben Carson gotten up about, it was about 100 evangelicals in all the groups together, but when they came together, he had over 1,000. And this whole group, they decided to use Trump to put him in office if he would, and then he would be owing them, and President Trump agreed to pay them back. Once they vote for him and get him in office, then he owe them. And so here they both was using each other. And so the image of the beast, it says the image of the beast to represent the form of Protestantism, which will be developed when Protestant churches shall seek the aid and the civil power for the enforcement of their dogmas. When the leading churches of the United States, united in a certain point of doctrine, as held by them in common, shall influence the state to enforce their decrees and sustain their institution, then Protestant America will have formed and what?
Amen.
To the Roman hierarchy.
Yes. And these have one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast. And so and then it goes on. Pope John Paul II will go down in history. And this is what Billy Graham said. He'll go down in history as the greatest of our modern popes. He's been the strong conscience of the whole Christian world. You see, he said the whole Christian world. It was the apostate that led the early church to seek the civil power of the government and all the aid. And then it says the wide diversity of, and see all this from the great controversy, diversity of belief in the Protestant churches is regarded by many as decisive proof that no efforts to secure a forced uniformity can ever be made. But there has been for years in churches of the Protestant faith a strong and growing sentiment in favor of a union based upon common points of doctrine. It says to secure such a union, discussion of subjects such which all were not agreed, however important they might be from a Bible standpoint, must necessarily be wavered.
Amen.
And so we go on down to, and now we're going to turn to, it says civil mental, pro-life, anti-gay, anti-feminist, it goes on down Catholic News, a website. Now you can look this up when you go home, churchmilitant.com, and you're going to find a lot. So you know, you've heard of Steve Bannon. That's
Bannon?
yes.
Oh.
That's President Trump's chief advisor, and they had a shakeup a week or two ago, but they still have him there, and he was working out of his home, and nobody knew him that much. And when he came on the scene, they found out that he is the main one from the Catholic. He's dealing with church and state, to destroy church and state, to do away with it, and that's what President Trump have called in to help. They're going to dismantle church and state.
Who would they call it? Bannon or this person?
Steve.
See, they call Bannon man. Steve Bannon?
Yes, yes.
So they're dismantling the separation of church and state.
I beg your pardon?
Are they trying to dismantle the separation of church and state?
Right.
Do
Okay.
you think that's going to be allowed?
This, the Bible speaks of, it got to, because it's union of church and state. The two horned beasts has church and state, separation of church and state. It has to come together to be union of church and state. That's why it's forming now. This beast is forming now. This image is formed now because they are destroying and taking away, doing away with that, because they said that the founding father really didn't mean that. And so that's what some of the Supreme Court justices is saying. And they are Roman Catholic, and they want to have union of church and state.
That's why it seems hard to believe that that will be dismantled, because, I mean, just Trump coming in and they've been trying to build, you know, this together.
See, but the Catholic, they are based on church and state. That's what makes it so bad, because they are the final voice. They are the one who, everything goes up to the Supreme Court. And so they believe in union of church and state.
But the thing is, also, I don't know if it's Jesuit influence or what, but at this point, evangelical Christians also want this too.
Yeah.
Now they don't believe in a separation anymore. They sound like Catholics. If you, because I'm a literature evangelist, and you meet these people, they don't talk
That's
anything
exactly
about
right.
separation of church and state anymore.
Right. This is correct. The
Evangelicals.
Protestant, evangelical.
But Adventists is doing the same thing. They're in there with them.
Say that again.
Adventists
Well, yeah.
is doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yes, they all
they're
All
with
in the
them.
courts. All
It's
in the
ready.
courts, you know.
The system is
Yeah.
ready. I'm telling you. Nobody will believe that they would go this far before. Now it just like breaknecks. I mean, it's like a lightning speed.
That's right.
And so you see, this is the guy, and you'll be surprised at what has been behind the scene with him. They brought him out of the basement, and then he was willing to be the chief counselor, and his advisor, and now he's doing things for the Catholic Church, and it's been in the news a lot lately. And this and it goes on about, they said that this group, they publish about 10 stories and 3 videos every weekday. And it's a powerful group.
Breitbart.
Yes.
What's Reebok?
And
What's
Oh, is that how you
that's a
pronounce
name.
it?
I'm not sure.
Breitbart.
What's that?
That's Bannon's website, media empire he built up in Britain.
That's right.
And they're right-wing propaganda, and they've attracted a worldwide following because they put out stories from like patriotism and right-wing and
That's
also white nationalists.
That's right. White nationalists.
And this is what's in the White House.
And you see, right-wing group, and this is the whole thing, is right in the White House, and he's the chief advisor to the president.
Look at this.
How they Catholicism to the
Say what?
state.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't pass
Doesn't
that.
sound like
I was
it's positive
talking here.
about it.
Watch this now, because this is what they published about this, and this was in the USA. This is the national paper here. Watch what they said about Trump. It said the leader Boris has compared Trump with who?
Constantine.
Constantine,
In the USA Today.
and the Roman emperor,
Whom
whom he says was not a moral man, but a power-hungry egomaniac, who elevated Catholicism to the state religion. And the reason they compared Trump with Constantine is because Constantine brought in the pagans and the
Right.
Christians
Together.
and joined them together.
Ooh, paganism
You
is
see,
coming.
and that's what's taking place now. So I want you to see, that's why I was showing you how all these things were leading up to this moment. And we
Right.
see the approaching of, they're like the Roman armies. Now we see all this stuff is, and this is the image of the beast being formed.
Oh.
And so,
It's around, Jerusalem is surrounded with armies
right,
now.
right. So you see how,
Really?
if you want to look this up, I still have the papers and stuff, but, you know.
I mean, we at this point, we've repeated almost everything that happened that set up that led to setting up the papacy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Deadly
trying to get
is
to
for
solid. That's why I don't
now.
want you all to miss these
The
things.
churches is silent, Elder Irving. The Seventh Adventist churches is silent.
Silent. And
Well,
but
they're
just
not
wait,
really. They've got
but just
big
wait to
constant
see
in it.
how these
No.
things are going. Well, we have the truth. We know what the
No.
truth is, and we don't go follow behind the others who doing whatever they want to do. We have to set our own house in order
Yeah,
and make
that's
sure,
right.
because
You're
we'll be
right to
deceived and we'll be
agree,
caught
but
up
to
and
know
we'll be
you're
lost.
not right.
And here,
They're not silent.
I wanted to go somewhere. I just want you to make sure
There it
you.
is, Breitbart News.
Yeah, you see that Breitbart News?
Breitbart, whatever.
And I just want you all to see this, because this is that website, and this is what propelling this image of the beast.
Church Militant, and that was the one that was the French Catholic group.
Yeah. Well, the Catholic group trying to say they don't, but they see their hands are dirty, but they the one doing the work for the Catholic Church, because
Right.
yeah,
So they could call them a friends group, but they putting it out there all
right,
the same.
right.
Okay.
And so
Isn't that
uh, top advisor, he's now the top advisor to the president, and he get his advice from him and stuff. So here looks to Trump.
C3 nonprofit.
Must be a website, I mean, a place.
This is the actual word says that the heart of what they do is Catholic theology. News is a door into
You
theology.
gotta be kidding.
The problem with America is America never sat down and had a right discussion about which religion is the right
Come
religion.
on, are you serious?
And adding that Trump is making that discussion possible. A Catholic monarch who protects his people from themselves, bestowed on them what they need, not what they want. America have been living in a secular dictatorship, and the solid moral principles are expressed in Catholicism more perfectly than any other source.
Somebody
Who
needs to
said
pull
that?
this up on their
Who
smartphone.
said that?
Because
That's from the USA Today's paper that
Perfectly.
This is
baloney.
game. It's checkmate.
yeah,
It's checkmate. They putting it out there in USA
it's
Today.
been out there.
That-
It's checkmate.
That's and you
That
wanna, like I
is
said, put it down.
Hold on for it.
That's blasphemy, man.
So I'm doing this because I want you all to look it up for yourself, and you'll see that this is the image of the beast.
It's finished.
This is what I'm trying to show. What more can we wait for
Where?
to believe that we are there?
Well, the thing, and it's just show how sleepy we are. I'm talking about myself, Elder Irving, because everything you showed from a principle standpoint that we there, but then they just come out and say it, and we still like,
What?
what?
But I'm telling you, we should be alarmed.
Can you go back to
Well,
that?
brother,
other-
Yes.
this is what I'm trying
I
to
don't
say.
mind backing up
There's
where
a lot
everybody
more
needs to
to
go.
this that he's not bringing out.
How far?
Picture, just that one. I think
Coming
it's
from
the one.
spirit prophecy.
They would raise up and say,
We'll see a
yeah,
more
same
clear
thing we are.
picture if we can look at it from what she's saying.
Yeah, Judy would go, what?
But nobody wants to acknowledge it.
Leave that, leave it. Seen any of this yet?
You want me to tell
You wanna
you?
see
Even
it?
in spirit
And
prophecy,
if
they
you want me to
quote-
go back farther,
even
because there was
the
one,
verse they quote clips from the news and stuff.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to
because
say.
when it started, they was talking about doing away with church and state.
You need to see that about the 501c3.
You don't think this is cool?
Now, do you want me to go forward with
Yeah,
this?
you
I'm
can.
talking about for you to get the picture.
Yeah, I'll get it. I got
She
that.
said in
Okay.
great controversy, she brings out that it is the church that makes
Okay,
the
that's the
image
next
of
one.
Which is Sunday minister.
Oh, yeah.
Rome has a state and a church. America makes an
Said
image
something
of
about
it
the
as a
church.
state,
Yeah.
but the church
Now-
would be Seventh-day Adventist. She said that the Seventh-day Adventist church is the one that calls far down from heaven.
Okay, now we get another one. That's the next one.
So he just mentioned about calling far down from heaven, but if we don't get a full picture of what's going on, we're blinded to the fact of what's happening.
Okay, we're ready to get another one.
You should ask for some time.
Okay, this is Catholic Friends Group.
French group. See what, oh, yeah.
What is this about? Church militant is the name of the online effort.
Uh-huh, and
Is
you
it
can,
Adventist?
no, this militant group.
The name of this article was Catholic Friends Group Looks to Trump in USA Today.
Yes, yes. They got a lot of, lots in there, and I just kept up with it because they had it on the front page and on the second page and all, and I just wanted to get out what the main part that we would need to know, okay?
When it say,
Let me back,
Amendments or whatever.
when it say
I'm
that,
backing up just for,
Oh, that one about Constantine.
Yeah.
Trump is like a
Yeah.
Constantine.
see
That's the
where
one.
it's
Get that
at.
one.
Let me just back up to,
But that article said
I'll
that
find
the head of Breitbart said that, which
He may
is
claim him, but we're not.
Bannon is in the White House.
You gotta stop yelling.
So the head of Breitbart said, and that's how Bannon feels, and that's what's in the White House right now.
oh, that's what I didn't read that top part. Church Friends Organization want to tear down wall of church and state.
Yeah.
And this is what they are forming for.
Yeah. But, so then all the churches, the Catholic Church and the Seventh-day Adventist Church is gonna be on that scarlet colored beast too.
They all, it says that Babylon will be completely fallen and her daughters, all of them, but yet we just holding on to the truth. We got a work to do with the latter rain and the
Right, I
loud
believe
cry,
that.
but the leaders and stuff, they'll be involved with all,
Yeah, but
because they
that's not the true
participate now.
church, really.
Yeah, that's
And
not
I just
the
want to
church,
say
right.
one thing and I move forward, because I don't want us to take away from our message, the real truth, because
The real.
there was the California, I may have mentioned to you, but in Denver, Colorado, you probably already know, some years ago, some time ago, that was a Seventh-day Adventist hospital. I mentioned that, I think, and that was the oh man, the hospital there in Denver, Colorado was owned by Seventh-day Adventists for years, but they wanted to join with the Catholic Church. They want to bring them in like they doing at Loma Linda. So once they, yes,
Melinda's owned by Catholics.
you call the Loma Linda, you can speak to the priest, and you can, because I've had them to call out there, and so they said that reason they got all this set up for, because they got so many members who was Catholic. But this thing is, you got to go through the Catholic for a lot of things.
You said
so,
this happened, what, 7 years ago or something?
This probably 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know how long it was. It wasn't long.
You talking about Colorado?
Colorado, the Denver, Colorado. Please forgive me. The name will come to me. The Denver, Colorado. Hospital now is owned by Catholic and Seventh-day Adventists because they put the Catholic first, because they don't put their name behind someone, they put theirs first, and so now it's jointly, and they call it Centura. It's an amalgamated name for the two churches, Catholic and the Seventh-day Adventists. And so,
one of them, they just recently sold an Adventist hospital to the Catholic Church and didn't tell the employees, but told the employees at the last minute. I just read this article, and then, like, the next day, they had a meeting and said, you will be employed by the Catholic Church. And many of them, some of the employees didn't care, but many of them was like, this is crazy.
okay, so I want to say this, and then I'm moving on. You know that when I was at the Cuthutta Springs, and I had to speak there when the general conference was coming. We had a prayer meeting for the weekend. We were praying for the general conference, and every speaker was there. They had asked me to do the speaking on current events and what's happened to the United States. And I sit there, and here it is. That was Charles Bradford, and I just have to say it. That was Charles Bradford. He had to speak in front of me. And this man got up there, and I know what I got to say. I can't set the people at ease. I got to tell them the truth. He stood up there and began to lug them to sleep by telling them the Lord says, occupy until I come, so don't worry about all this going on and that's going on, and everybody getting you alarmed about different things. Yeah, and so when he got through, I said, now I got to get up and undo what he's been doing up there. And believe me, the Lord impressed me. Then when I got up there, when they lined us all, they said, y'all, time is gone. You don't have time to go to your screen. And you don't have time to go back to your Bible, to get your Bible. We're going to only give you so many minutes, each one. And so here it is, oh man. And then this man unspoke, and I got to come up, but no, because all of the presidents and others was there. Finally the Lord took over. And when I got through speaking, Elder Sherrod, which is the director for the Religious Liberties, he said, did you see Elder Bradford? Irving, did you see Elder Bradford? He said he couldn't sit down. He was just so excited with what you were saying. And when it was over with, he came, he made his way to me before I could take my seat. And he grabbed me. He said, Elder Irving, he said, this is what we used to preach. He said, this is what we used to preach long ago. And he was so excited because for me to go on and speak that really fired him up, going by what he had said. And then he went on to camp meeting over at South Atlantic Conference at Orangeburg, and he was the main speaker. When we were lined up, after the speaker get through speaking, we get there, but before I could get to him, he looked over and saw me. He said, Mr. Prophecy Man, did I preach prophecy today? It reminded me of whatever God tells us to do, go and do it.
Amen.
Because this man was touched. He was touched knowing he knew the truth.
People told them, and they said, what do we need to do to be saved? Because the leaders, they were devout men, but they were ministers.
So here So you all of this you will find, that was January the 31st, right after President Trump taking office and stuff. And so, oh, you said you needed the
Right
Constantine right here.
So this is the leader of Breitbart that said this.
Yes, yes.
And if the leader of Breitbart said this, then that's the exact way Bannon felt, and he in the White House.
Right, exactly. And Bannon was the one,
Oh, yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
understand.
they were using, Bannon was the leader.
Because Bannon built Breitbart.
Right.
Actually, Bannon came in and built it up to what it is. And if this is,
guy
yeah.
saying that.
So him and Bannon is going to be on the same page.
They're on the same page, and I wish you all could see the whole, I may bring it tomorrow if I brought those articles and
Did
stuff.
you bring out to everybody that Bannon himself is an Irish Catholic?
Is an Irish
Irish.
I know that.
He is.
And
And he's kind of don't really, the way they talk about him in the media, he don't really attend church,
I got
but
it.
that's his youth. That's his background.
And they don't want to expose some things because they in the Catholic Church want to kind of distance themselves a little bit, but they say he's not speaking for them, but you'll find what is actually going on. So when you see our next, let's see, okay, do you see any other slide that you want me to stop? Because we're
So
about,
that's a Catholic.
so we're supposed to go to, is it 8:15?
Just go as long as you want to.
And he
No, don't
believes.
say that.
Tell them more about this guy, though, if they don't know. This guy believes in the end of the world. He believes in the war and all this type of stuff.
He is way out there.
He's
And,
way out.
and it's amazing how Trump pulled, but see, Trump owed them. He owed all of these people for putting him in the office because they had meetings before he became president, and he promised that he was going to honor them and he's going to use them. And so I'm just trying to let you know that this is where we are now. And these are the last slides here for this.
I think that's
It says the problem with odor. We've already have that. You have this slide. I mean, you taking the pictures of that, right?
solid moral principles,
Now,
their moral principles,
here-
murder and mayhem.
This is the election of the candidates, and it was not just what those few, but it was 17 of them, I think, total. And yeah, these are the others. And then Ben Carson, and that's what I was going to. That's going to be the last thing that I want y'all to hear, but I have to. It's not going to be tonight. I just want you. But look, what? Say what now?
I just said right in front of our eyes.
I wonder if Ben Carson is going to play some important role, because I really, when he started running, I said, wow, if he gets president, a Seventh-day Adventist.
But he has major. He's a major fulfillment.
Yeah.
The devil used him.
That's
and
what I
this
was,
is what.
that's
Yeah.
what my husband was
Just
thinking.
wait until you hear the other part,
Yeah.
and you'll see his part that he's playing.
He's already
and,
done
and
it.
being a Seventh-day Adventist, Satan would love to use, just like he did the
Oh,
Jewish
yeah.
nation
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. I
Use the
believe
Jewish
that.
leaders now with the Seventh-day Adventists, and then Barry Black. He's the
Oh,
other one there in the
yeah.
office
He already
there.
in there.
And so I'm just showing you how right now. But Ben Carson did things that it just blow you away.
Trump.
And he has done his work. They just put him over the housing and urban
Development.
development.
You got those stats, what Ben Carson has done?
Yes. What I was want you to know that he was the one who got the evangelicals and they all together so they can vote for Trump. And because they was against him and they was all divided, but they became one. There was at first it was over 100, then it was over 1,000, then they all. Because look at Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
He got a mega church. You got T.D. Jakes. You got all these other ministers who Paula White. And you got all of them that was in the meeting and got together to put Trump in office because they wanted to take over. And Trump owed them. And so they want to do away with church and state so they can be in power. And so
Ben Carson did it.
what Trump mean, and this is all in the paper. You see that? They said what Trump mean, a vote mean for evangelicals.
Hold on. Well, that's why I was asking you, had you, how recently you had gone to Rome, because someone told me that there is now a banner in the Vatican that says the last church, the Seventh-day Adventist church, that was out of the arms of Rome has now been reconciled back into the arms of Rome.
I won't doubt it because Rome was the one who said that if you want a true Protestant, you go to the Seventh-day Adventist church.
Well, they said it's no longer
Yeah, and
now.
I know. And so now, once the Seventh-day Adventist church tore down their logo,
Yep.
and everything went under the umbrella of and so that's where so that's where we are now. And I just want you to know that
They riding on
all
the
of
beast.
it
They
is
riding on that
riding
beast
on
with
the
the rest
beast.
of them.
And this is our leaders just like Neil Wilson joined with them way back.
He was a Jesuit.
Yes, and this is what happened back in the day. But his son wanted to change,
He's a Jesuit.
but he got up and he knows what they said about his father. And so, but
He
anyway,
done changed the book, Great Controversy, the Great Hope, and took
Yeah.
out all
I
the
went up there
Catholic
to
hopes.
I went up to Revere and Herald, and they took me. I got some pictures of it. They taken me through the Revere and Herald to show me those books before they sent them out. They had they said the director told me, he said, Irving, we're gonna send one of these to every family in the world. And it shook me because I said, no, you mean every family in the United States? He said, no, in the world, one per family. And
The
stuff.
Great Hope book.
Yes, and they send it to every family. You know
They
about it, right?
start doing in Bolivia, Argentina, Brazil,
You heard
and
me?
Venezuela is no food.
Yes.
Ted Wilson rewrote it, and he took out all
And see, I know that that's what happened.
the Catholic
Say what?
Church.
Now, what is the Great
But,
Hope?
See, that's part of the
They-
great
when the
controversy.
publication
When they
was
take it
out,
out, they gutted it out, they're taking a lot of things out of it because when you go back dealing with the beast and you deal with then they had to sweep things up by not talking about the beast and stuff because if the Seventh-day Adventist Church they told us that if they could be sued if we talked about the Catholic Church.
Because you 501c3 incorporated, you can't talk about the Catholic Church no more.
Yeah, that they told us this, but that's why they get upset with us. But when I go up in the churches, I still have to do it.
You
And
in with the conference and they let you do that?
He was an evangelist.
Say what?
You in with the conference?
No, I'm not in with the Catholic. I'm saying the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But when I go up, a lot of the members and a lot of the elders come to me and say, I have never heard nobody get up and speak and say the words you said because see, they're friends. I'm independent.
Oh, that's why you can do it.
I'm gonna do it.
But the doors keep opening for him to get in there.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
they tried to shut me down a lot of times, and it was a big thing about it. But
I'm
I'm not worried.
surprised because if they find out that you're preaching in the Adventist church, the church needs to
That's
shut down.
what everybody be saying, but the thing about it is that even in our church have confronted me about things. They said, Irving, after they can get me to change the name of the presentation and different things, then they confused the people. They didn't want the people that I was going to come back and camp to speak. So they changed the names of some things. And then at the time, they after I wouldn't change, I went on with it. And then they had to shut me down later. It took 2 or 3 years before they stopped it. But then they had to bring me back because the members said that's why they were coming to camp meeting for those classes and stuff. And so I don't worry about, because God opened doors and he shut doors. And so this is his work. So, and I tell them I go everywhere. That's why Athens, Alabama, Mr. Willie Taylor, he's the Southeastern Conference president for the Seventh-day Adventists. He called me in January. He said, Elder Irving, we would need someone for Religious Liberty Day and our guest speaker. He said, but everybody was telling me that I should get you. He said, but I had never met you before, and I've been in the Southeastern Conference, but now I'm at Athens, and he said that we wanted to see whether you can come. And so we set the dates up and we arranged it. I went up and it's amazing how the Lord blessed. And he told me, because he was surprised at the material that I presented that day. And
They would let you.
and so, but they want me to come back.
Praise
And
the
so,
Lord.
because he
That
knows this is
gentleman
the
that
truth.
was a
So
evangelist,
here you see
SDA
what all
and
it says.
an SDA evangelist who's
Donald
still
Trump,
very
conservative
in fact,
Christians,
a very good friend.
let's see,
He still works
Latino.
for him.
He
does
has
his
been married
he does
3
his
times,
soundboard
said little things
recording stuff,
related to
equipment for him.
beloved Bush family and
I forgot
offended
his
women
name,
and
but
Latinos,
he
but
had
conservative
his
Christians
thing on the
helped
air,
send
radio and TV,
Donald Trump to
and
the
he's
White House
taking
anyway.
questions
4 out
and
of
answers
5 white
from people
evangelicals
out there
voted
that
for
weren't even
the
at it.
Republican nominee
And
according to
somebody
Exco.
told him,
Now,
And black people do it.
this
now,
was some years ago,
It said,
do you
it
believe
said,
Yeah.
that the Pope is
you,
and he
but
denied
still,
it.
they was
He
involved.
denied
A lot
it.
of
Do you
them
remember
involved.
that guy?
Listen, you know what I told the people
What's
before
his
the
name?
voting for the election? I told them that Trump, and this is just my assessment here. I said Donald Trump remind me of when Christ was before Pilate. And they know that Christ had only healed and did great things, and yet they want to put him to death. And the Jewish leaders were so hateful of Jesus that they wanted Barabbas. And then, but what evil has he done, Pilate says. And then they said, but, and who will replace him? And they wanted Barabbas, the worst.
He couldn't believe it.
And he was blowing them away. That, you mean to tell me you will get Barabbas out of prison? He's a murderer and he was this and that and the other. They still. God permitted this country to be weighed in the balance. They seen everything that this man was throwing out there. All of this stuff about this, that, and other. And they was everything when he was bragging about what he can do and get away with it and stuff. And they still closed their blind eye. They still said, but he did that. But look at here. They still, and they didn't want to hear all of that stuff. So God permitted this thing to happen because God forces nothing on anyone. Man has to make a choice. This country, our leaders, and so this is what happened. And then the churches was the ones who went on and agreed to put him in. And so that's why this here is in the paper now. You see how in spite of, and that's all in one paragraph. You see where all of this stuff here about the women's and about the, you know, the different things he had did and stuff, but they don't care. They still, they said anyway. And so it says what Trump means for, I think we read that, right? He said, I'm the only one. Yeah, there was only one candidate in the race, one majority candidate who actually asked for the votes of white evangelicals, and that was Donald Trump. And said Mike Ware, a faith advisor to President Obama.
Yes.
White evangelicals with some merit feel embattled and isolated, he said. I'm the only one who can save you. I'm the only one who can hear you. You see that?
Wow.
And I mean, they printed.
I'm the only one who hears you.
Like
I'm the only one who says.
like he's God.
This is what I'm saying. You hear what I'm
They
saying?
have chosen Caesar.
I'm trying to show you.
We will have no king but Caesar.
There you go. All this is replaying itself. So I'm thankful to the Lord that we was able to
She wants that one back.
But Elder Irving, these things coming out now, man, it's from what you showed
You got back
on
from
your
another
chart.
one?
On your chart right there,
Another one?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
from the beginning of the Protestant Reformation
Uh-huh.
to the end
Yeah.
of time,
Yeah.
it's just like this is the fruit of that time closing.
Sure, sure.
Just like when
Same.
just like when
And
the
you
Jewish
see how-
nation.
You see
Brother.
how the
Before I came to Los Angeles to here, that's less than a week, my friend sent me a note that Trump has a fight with the wife. But the wife wants to divorce him.
yes.
But if he says to her, if you divorce me, you will never see the boy, because it's the only boy he's
his son.
And she says, if you do that to me, I will open my mouth.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. This thing is nasty.
She will open her mouth.
Yes,
because she knows many, many, many things.
yes.
My sister said, she said they don't got a good relationship.
No.
I have a pictures, and the first day,
And you haven't noticed lately, you haven't been seeing her a lot.
Yeah, she didn't even come to Washington.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
That's
they,
true.
they have a terrible relationship
So
because
I was just trying to present to you all the truth of where we are. And we
Yeah.
just look at, count down to 2017 from the Bible point of, and everything, the scriptures and stuff. Come down to see how we can identify where we are. So that's going to be the last thing that I will have to do. But right now, I want to close out now because we are 8:15. Someone was merciful and blessing to permit me to go to 8:15, and I'm honored that you came back.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you were
she
here.
never leave.
And so everyone here, I want to thank you. I praise the Lord for you.
Praise the Lord.
And I hope and pray that you could see why the urgency of through the day of pleading with you to see the importance of a lot of things I had to repeat. I said it several times because it was so important to see how where we are with the two beasts of Revelation 13 and bringing us on down to here, and now we got additional. I know that I was to do it tonight, but we won't do it tonight because this was the end of that, and then I have backup for Donald Trump. For President Trump and Ben Carson and the evangelicals, and I have this on tape. So we'll have to pick that up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Is that okay?
That's all right.
At 10 o'clock, we will begin with the tape because I have it right here. And this tape here, that's right. This here is related to the image of the beast with the Pope coming to America and what he did while he was here when they taken over Washington and the whole world. Yeah, so I got that. Yeah, so I want you to get that first because you see about the evangelicals and you've seen the articles from this 2000 and 2005 and all leading up to now. But now I want you, while we are here, now I want you to see how the Pope set things up while he was here. So the image.
That's what you said. Just show.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to see at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then we're going to finish up with Ben Carson. But we're going to have to see what the Pope, because I want to see that they did something that is unbelievable. It's unheard of what the Catholic Church has done in our country. And so just please come and pray that God will protect us through the night and bring us back tomorrow morning and send the Holy Spirit to stay with us and continue to open our eyes. Okay.
When is this that the Pope came to America? What year?
He came in 2015.
1916.
2015 he came.
Didn't he
It's
come last
16.
year?
September 15,
September
15 September
Yeah.
19,
That was in
2016.
that video. He
Yeah.
came and spoke
Yeah,
to
because 2016, that's when September the 23rd, and he stayed here for that period of time. And
He went to Bolivia
Yeah.
And did he come that right before the election or the year before?
before.
Right before the election.
It was last year. He spoke to the joint session of Congress.
He was here last year.
Because this year
wait,
is
just
the
a moment.
year of mercy.
No, it's closed. He closed the door.
No, okay, I don't have my tablet.
I have.
But it was supposed to be like the fake year of mercy where we're
Yeah.
supposed to have grace, where we're supposed to get everything together because it's going to come down hard.
That's what makes-
He's trying to make fake
Nice.
peace.
Sister.
No.
You see this here?
Mhm.
September
Oh,
Yeah.
was it?
See,
the
September 25 to
25th to
27.
27th of 2016.
The Adventists were in a
Just
week
this
of
last
prayer
year,
with
then?
the Pope.
Yeah.
A week of prayer with the
That
Pope.
was the.
She brought up something important, what Sister Constance said, and it just showed, I myself is included in this. This just happened last year, and all of us right now, we can hardly even remember that this happened last year.
That's
During
right.
all of last year, listen, the Catholic Church had announced a year of mercy, and you get a plenary indulgence if you walk through. They still talking about
They're
indulgences, which
still
started
controlling the money.
and so they had a year of indulgence. It ended in December. So this year, so the Pope closed the door of mercy. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
All last year was a year where they say mercy is open to the world, I guess. And in December, so this year is, you know, it's just like.
Now you see how fast
It's fake.
that time passes. Is that when we looked at thinking that here was 2015.
This is it. Oh, she just asked the question. This is asking this
She
question.
said, what are they gonna do?
This is. What I'm saying is, it's unbelievable the state of condition we're in. We read, we know what's in the Great Controversy.
Yeah.
We know all these things. This is what our church is raised up to do. He's showing how every single thing that would be necessary to do it has been accomplished. He closed the door of mercy, and the question is, well, what is he gonna do?
That's
All who don't comply,
but
get ready.
It's checkmate. It's over with. The only thing that's waiting on them to do it is God. The Revelation says that, you know, hold the winds until the servants of the Lord are sealed in their forehead.
and see.
So we're the only
We're
thing.
rejecting the seal. That's what
We're
I'm
the,
trying
we're
to
the
say.
only ones holding
gotta-
this up. It's waiting to drop. She said, matter of fact, soon as the church is ready for the test, it will come.
I have that
They
coming
said
up.
that in the-
And so thank you for bringing it because you was on spot. Because here it looked like it's been a long time since he was here.
This was in
All these
September.
things have been
Sure,
going
this
on.
seems like
September of last year.
And with the elections and all this stuff, it was just only
6 months
So we
ago.
can-
September. And remember, if we don't know it, that they have a red mass. The Catholics have a red mass every year, the last week of September. They have to have the red mass before before the fiscal year starts, which is October. The Supreme Court have to take their seat. And so before they can take that seat, they have a red mass in Washington where the president and the Supreme Court and everybody have to come to the red mass so they can tell them what the Holy Spirit has instructed them for. And I'll pull that up. Because the red mass, and that's when the Pope was here last year, that last week, because he had to come during the red mass during that time and stuff.
Well, they already mixed churches.
Say what?
Oh,
I know. But,
Did you say
so
Our Chief Justice Kennedy, right?
I know, Robert.
It's Roberts. He's Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
You know, they've been doing this red mass for years. I didn't know about it, but our Chief Justice attends these red masses.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah, they do every year, but I didn't know, but it was in the news.
Yeah.
You see them, the picture, and it's like our Chief Justices go to Catholic Mass, and they're Catholic.
Yes, I have that.
It's like right in front of our face.
Right, and then so
Hidden in plain sight.
In plain sight.
So I didn't want you all to see this, you know, when we get there tomorrow morning, because I have it right here. I want to pull it up now, but it's a picture. And then I got the video where they're going into the red mass, they're coming out, and the Chief Justice Roberts and all of the Supreme Court justices, and that should be a violation because of church and state, and also favor of religion. But they have it where they got to do for the Catholic Church.
That was like
Where
Ran,
secret chamber. Where?
and blew the trumpet.
All I say is, it's so much stuff going on.
Elder Irving, look, the first pope to address a joint meeting of Congress, they brought a joint session Congress. The whole Congress, the whole Senate was gathered to listen to the Pope. First time it happened in American history.
And then the president, I got it on tape where the president, when he greeted him about Holy Father, this and that.
Called him Holy
And they went on and so they all, both Georgia Congress and the president, wait here, because that's what I'm trying to show you, that never in history, now all these things are right on time.
So Speaker of the House
He even met with Mark
said,
Zuckerberg.
we are all here to give
In
you
the
answers.
social department, you know, and these
Make an image to
Facebooks
the
and
video.
everything. He's coming every day.
Now Bound
and
down.
everything you're looking at.
What's his name?
They bound down.
So we're just blessed that we were able to go to 8:15. It's a little bit after, but we just don't, we ask you to come and do this. We want to follow the, and so you can depend on what we are asking. So let's have a closing prayer now. And I would like to have two volunteers along with we'll have two volunteers to close it out. Because I like for the church to be God's sisters and brothers to participate, and that's what I be doing. Okay.
Will you close, Elder? Or do you want to open? You want to pray first or you want to pray last?
I can pray last. Okay. We just have. Maybe pray.
Dear Father in heaven,